Hi everyone, Tom Wolfe here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create this hybrid bell preset in Omnisphere. Okay, so as you can hear, we've got this kind of organic bell on the attack, and then as I hold the keys down, it kind of sustains this kind of delicate synth pad that sort of floats around quite a bit. This is a preset called In Contemplation. Now, this is included in the Synth Vault in November 2021. So if you want to download this preset, just head to synthvault.net. Sign up for an account if you've not already got one, and then you can download this preset from the Vault, as well as a whole bunch of other presets for Omnisphere and other synths as well. So let's have a look at how to create this preset from scratch. Okay, so we're going to start off with layer A. So let's come over to layer A. And on layer A, we've got this sample here called School Mallets, which is one of the factory samples from Omnisphere. Okay, so load that up, and then this is what the sample sounds like. So you can hear that's our kind of organic bell type mallet sound that we're using on that attack. And you can see we've got the amp set here. So, you know, the attack is very slow. We've got a 2.86 second decay on it, no sustain, and then, you know, a just under 1 second release on that. So then I'm going to switch the filter on. So on the filter, you can see we've got this preset here called Thick UVI. Now, this is actually a preset that I created myself, and it's one that I use quite a lot. So if we zoom in on the filter, in filter 1, we've got it set to low pass UVI 1, and on filter 2, we've got it set to low pass UVI 3. So we've got it set to series, so it's going to be going through filter 1 into filter 3, okay? So we've got a little bit of cutoff offset on filter 1, so we can see that is set to 0.555. We've not got any other offset on either of these, and then we've got the mix set to 50% as well, so we're going to be hearing an equal mix of both of those filters. Okay, so across our overall filter preset, we've got the cutoff set to 0.75 kilohertz, which is quite low. We've got no resonance, we've got the key follow up halfway, and then we've got the envelope amount set to full. So we're going to be controlling this filter with our filter envelope. So if we come down here, the attack is on 0 seconds. We've got our decay set to 1.79 seconds. We've got our sustain all the way off there. And then we've got our release set to 1.69 seconds. We've also got the velocity turned up just over halfway. So the amount of control, the amount of effect that this is going to have on applying that envelope to that filter, that is being controlled by the velocity which I play the notes. So if I play softer notes, it's going to be slightly more, darker. The filter's not going to open up quite so much. And then if I play heavier velocities, it's going to open that filter up quite a lot. So we've got that velocity set to just under 0.6. So that sounds like this. If we take that filter off, it's really kind of stunting that and giving us that kind of slightly more staccato attack on those kind of bell mallet sounds there. So let's turn off layer B and come over to layer A. So as you can see, we've got the same sample loaded up into layer A. So this is our school mallet sample still. This is being pitched up by 12 semitones, so an entire octave. So this layer is going to be sounding an octave higher than layer B. But this layer is actually starting to work on our pad. So if we come to our amp envelopes, you can see we've got very different envelope settings here. So our attack is set to 1.27 seconds. Our sustain is all the way up, so our decay isn't going to be having an effect on it. And then we've got our release set to 3.1. So this is kind of like a pad type sound. Okay, we're then running this through the granular engine. So let's switch that on. So we've got our granular engine set into position mode. The position is set to this kind of decay tail that's happening just after our attack here. We've got the grain depth set to 0.65. We've got just a tiny little bit of intensity on there. Smoothing set to halfway. The spread is all the way up. And we're not getting any detuning on these grains either. So it's just going to be that one smooth pitch there. So that's just kind of softening that kind of organic pad sound that we've got going on there. And then I'm going to come across to our effects as well, and I'm just going to switch on this precision comp, which is just kind of squashing the sound a little bit and bringing it out. So then we'll look at layer C, okay? So let's get layer C on this. So on layer C, we've got it set to the synth engine, and we've got it set to a JX3P sawtooth wave, okay? We're then going to run this through the unison engine. So we'll switch that on. So as you can see, we've got the depth set to 0.31. We've got the spread all the way up, and we've got just a little bit of detune on here. So it's not going too kind of mad. It's just giving us a bit of kind of thickness and warmth to that sound. We're then going to run this through the filter. So the filter is set to Fatboy, which is a preset that is included with Omnisphere. If you want to look under the hood, it's a low pass warm 24 dB that's running in parallel with a low pass warm 12 dB. So they're kind of working together in this preset. We've got the filter set to 0.136 kilohertz. We've got a little bit of resonance on here, 0.142. Key follows up to halfway. And then we've got a little bit of envelope control in this. So not a huge amount. It's set to 0.39. So that is just going to kind of open this filter up according to this envelope setting here. So the envelope setting is we've got a 4.46 second attack. We've got sustain almost all the way up. That might as well be all the way up there. And then we've got the release set to just under 7 seconds there too. And we've also got a little bit of velocity control here. So that is set to 0.395 there. So as you can hear, that's just kind of giving us a kind of warm pad sound there. So we've then got some extra modulation on this layer as well. So as you can see, our pan is being modulated here, which you can tell by that little blue line. So let's show the modulation for that. We're modulating it with LFO1. So you can see that we've got the amount set to 0.305 there. Okay, let's just unmute this. So LFO1 is controlling this, and you can see our LFO1 is set to a sine wave. We've got it set to 3. And we've got the rate set to 0.16 hertz, and the depth is at halfway there. So if you're wearing headphones, or you've got decent speakers, you'll be able to hear this. If you're just kind of listening on your phone or anything, you're not going to be able to kind of hear this effect. So I recommend listening with headphones. But this is starting to add just a little bit of very slow stereo panning on our pad there, but that's not all. So we're actually going to be controlling this panning. So as you can see here, we've got these little blue lines on our LFO1 rate and depth. So this is actually being controlled by our mod envelope 1. So let's unmute those. So if we come over to our mods, we come over to our envelope. So we've got our envelope set to 5.81 second attack. We've got our sustain down to 0.7. So we are getting the effect of this decay, which is just over 6 seconds. And then we've got our release set to about 4 seconds. Now the depth of this is turned all the way up. And as I've shown you already, this is controlling our rate and our depth. So what that means is as I press a key, over time, as this kind of builds in and then drops back, this is going to increase the rate and the depth of this LFO controlling that pan. So we can see that happening here when I press a key. So slowly over time, it's building in from this kind of soft, subtle panning to a much kind of quicker and wider pan, thanks to that envelope, which kind of helps us create this sort of evolution in this sound. As it, the note is sustained, it's going to start building and it's going to start widening out and creating extra movement in this preset. So now we can start putting our sounds together. So let's start with layer B. There we go, we've got our nice kind of attacky mallet sound there. Then we can add that organic pad sound into it. And then lastly, we'll add layer C, which is our synth pad. And as we sustain, we get that kind of warm analog synth pad sound kind of blending into that. Okay, so we're nearly there. So if we come over to our effects, so I'm going to switch on my precision comp, and this is just to kind of glue the sound together and fatten it up a little bit and kind of, you know, squash those sounds so it doesn't sound like 3 individual layers, it sounds a bit more like one sound. Okay, and then on our auxiliary, we've got this proverb. So the proverb is set to 100% wet, so our auxiliary is just going to be a reverb signal. We've got the time quite high there, just over 11 seconds. We've got the size down to 43, little bit of pre-delay. CPU load is up to about 1/4. We've got the density on full, and we've got the diffusion on full here as well. So let's turn our aux return up all the way. And we can see how we're kind of sending our different layers into the auxiliary and into the reverb at differing amounts. So our organic pad, we've got the aux send up to halfway there. On layer B, we've got a little bit, so it's set to 0.132. So we're not going to get so much reverb on that bell-like attack part of the sound. That's going to stay relatively dry, and then the pad is going to get this kind of ethereal reverb on it. And again, with the synth pad, we've got it slightly higher, so that's set to 0.324. So we're not getting as much reverb on that synth pad as we are on the organic pad, but we're getting a lot more than we are on the bell attack there. So there we go, it just kind of helps to make that sustain a little bit more ambient. But we still get a little bit of sort of blowing reverb on that attack there. And then last but not least, you will have seen on that on layer B and layer A, we've got this flame distortion unit, okay? So this is set up to be on our mod wheel. So as you can see, we've got the mix set to 0, but this is being modulated by our mod wheel. So let's come over here and switch that on. Okay, so these are just direct copies of the same preset. So we've got the gain up to, so the pre-gain is up to -1.39, a little bit of low pass filtering there. We've got the setting set to burn, and then in post we've got the gain set to just over 1 dB, and again we're filtering this a little bit with a low pass filter. So now when I play this sound, I can bring in that mod wheel and kind of, it works really nice kind of bringing it in on that sustain there. And just gives it a kind of a grittier sustain sound there. Okay, so that was how to create the preset In Contemplation. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial and hope you enjoyed creating this sound yourself. As I said at the beginning, this was part of the November 2021 Synth Vault presets. Now in the Synth Vault, I add new presets every single month that you can download for completely free. And to sign up to the Synth Vault is also completely free. So if you want to download more presets like this, just head to synthvault.net and sign up. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, take care.